somewhere along the way, you learn that feeling too deeply could break you, that caring too much would cost too much. Bonhoeffer saw this quiet withdrawal, the way the heart wraps itself in silence, choosing numbness over pain. Tonight we sit with that choice, not to judge it, but to understand the soft logic of survival. Because sometimes numbness is a shield, a way to hold yourself together when the world asks too much. And in that quiet shield, a tender heart still waits to be seen, ready to feel again when the time is right. In the stillness of a calm evening, we embark on a quiet journey into the heart's hidden sanctuary, a place where thoughts whisper like a gentle breeze across a calm lake. This is a realm that invites us to embrace the nuances of emotional numbness, a state which young Dietrich Bonhoeffer discovered as a refuge amidst the clamour of life's unending demands. Here in this tranquil haven, the heavy expectations of a tumultuous world pause momentarily, allowing dreams to intermingle with reality and offering a shield against the constant call of duty and belief. Bonhoeffer, even in his youth, perceived numbness as a paradox, a balm for the soul that, while shielding one from the harshness of life, also robs it of warmth and emotional engagement. Within this dichotomy, he found a silent withdrawal that promised relief from the pursuit of certainty, yet subtly concealed a tension longing for release. As we explore this realm, let us gently unravel the complex questions it poses, savouring the protective allure it offers, while peering into the depths of its mysteries. In life's orchestra of relentless demands, the melody of silence can be profoundly soothing. For Bonhoeffer, silence invited a much-needed reprieve, a cocoon where the echoes of faith and moral obligation softened, offering solace, if only briefly. The relentless symphony of societal pressures, familial expectations, and personal aspirations found respite within the quiet arms of emotional numbness. Yet what was sanctuary for Bonhoeffer could morph into an echo chamber where escaping expectations risked ensnaring him in a self-imposed prison. In this space, silence thickens, providing shelter from external pressures, while also isolating one within the boundaries of one's own unexpressed conflicts. The mind, momentarily freed from outer demands, becomes its own master, afloat on a sea of unmet emotions and unresolved tensions, leaving one to wonder how long such silence can endure before it stifles inquiry altogether. In his tender years, Bonhoeffer faced the intangible shadows of expectation, formed by both the weight of past generations and future responsibilities. Emotional numbness became his quiet rebellion, a silent retreat from this inheritance, a pause in the maelstrom of human emotion. This brief detachment let him observe with curiosity, steering clear of vulnerability's treacherous waters. But this retreat came with a cost. By sidestepping the palette of emotions, Bonhoeffer missed vital life experiences. Love, loss, joy, and sorrow are colours that complete life's canvas. Ignoring them leaves the portrait dull. His longing for numbness was not cowardice, but a profound acknowledgement of overwhelming expectation. Yet the question lingers: can truly escaping feelings lead to greater disconnection from life's vibrancy? In a world demanding ceaseless action, emotional numbness is crafted as armour, a shield against life's trials. This armour, while protecting, also bears its own vulnerability, stifling genuine experience. Bonhoeffer perceived numbness not only as silence but as a defence mechanism, a way to fend off the weight of action and responsibility. And yet beneath this armour, a quiet dissonance thrived, an echo resounding in the heart's depths. Was evading action enough to deny the opportunities for growth and connection? In reflection, questions arise. Can one's armour remain unyielding without suffocating the soul it seeks to protect? And upon recognising its burden, might we courageously disarm and embrace vulnerability? Bonhoeffer's self-imposed silence uncovered a symphony of unresolved conflicts played in hushes. Externally tranquil, an internal dance of thoughts and feelings sought harmony, navigating silence and strife. Through numbness, he engaged not the absence but the undertow of internal struggle, a persistent quest for clarity and meaning. Dwelling in silence might obscure paths to awareness. Still, it offers an invitation to explore identity's intricacies. For Bonhoeffer, silence serves both as a map and a veil, directing focus inward while clouding deeper understandings. This serene symphony calls us to listen, promising insights and an enriched sense of self woven through the gentle melody of introspection. Behind Bonhoeffer's still facade lurked a persona tinged with contradiction, a veneer of resilience masking the mechanics of self-delusion. Stillness promised respite, yet only offered temporary relief, fostering an illusionary equilibrium amid emotional storms. This reveals stillness' dual nature, inviting reflection while concealing deeper truths. Bonhoeffer's strength quest highlighted the balance challenge amidst emotional turmoil. Self-reflection emerges vital, coaxing counsel from the soul's depth. His journey forges new paths for synthesis, unveiling the fallacies embedded in stillness' soothing shell. Amid the numbness lies the call to feel, a longing from the subconscious, inviting full emotional engagement. Vulnerability, often deemed weakness, emerges as a path to liberation and authenticity. Bonhoeffer illustrates the transformative power of feeling, signalling a shift towards honesty and openness. Embracing feeling catalyses a re-evaluation of life. As Bonhoeffer shows, vulnerability spurs a deeper understanding and connection, inspiring us to reconsider self-imposed boundaries. This timeless call leads us to rediscover strength in open-hearted engagement, fostering authenticity in life's vibrant flow. At the heart of Bonhoeffer's introspection lay courage, the bravery to question, seeking clarity and truth. His journey transcended passive reflection, embodying active engagement with emotional complexities. By interrogating numbness, Bonhoeffer unearthed new paths towards self-realization. His explorations shed light on self-awareness and evolution, forging pathways to authenticity and connection. In facing vast expectations, true resilience rises not from evasion, but from confronting emerging questions. Bonhoeffer's insights guide our self-journey, illuminating personal world borders, fostering authentic existence comprehension. Within numbness lies a dialogue unspoken, a subtle exchange between the conscious and unconscious, beckoning us to listen beyond silence. This dialogue for Bonhoeffer resonated with unmet emotions awaiting acknowledgement and understanding. By nurturing this hidden space, Bonhoeffer invited profound self-discovery. He sensed, through attuned listening, that a deeper self-alignment could occur, fostering connections with his psyche's layers. This dialogue urges us to notice silent messages, to recognise healing and growth potentials inherent in this inner conversation. This chapter reveals how numbness, enriched by listening, creates a sacred space where healing, transformation, and understanding intertwine harmoniously, guiding us with grace and resolve into the fullness of our humanity. In the oppressive twilight of Nazi Germany, the air was thick with a sense of foreboding, a pressure on the soul that was as palpable as the shadow that loomed over the land. The regime's grip tightened like an iron vice, compelling ordinary people to confront unimaginable demands on their moral consciousness. In those haunting days when truth itself became a dangerous entity, Bonhoeffer stood as a silent witness to a profound transformation in the human spirit. He observed with a mixture of understanding and sorrow how citizens began to wrap themselves in the comforting cloak of denial, a self-imposed numbness that blurred the harsh edges of reality. In such times, emotional numbness was the allure of safety, an insidious refuge from the cognitive dissonance that came from witnessing acts of cruelty and injustice. As the shadow of authoritarian power grew ever darker, people dissociated not only from their environment, but from their own reflections. Bonhoeffer understood that for many, this emotional withdrawal was not a choice born of malice, but a vulnerability laid bare by the harshness of their reality. The seductive balm of numbness provided a way to coexist with the unimaginable horrors that lingered beyond the fragile barrier of apathy. As this chapter of history unfolded, Bonhoeffer witnessed a collective turning away from injustice, where societies chose to ignore the escalating horrors around them. Survival instinctually demanded such deflection, a way to navigate the treacherous waters of fear while maintaining the facade of normalcy. Yet, this deliberate ignorance quietly eroded the moral fabric of society, leaving individuals adrift in an ocean of ethical ambiguity. In his reflections, Bonhoeffer lamented how turning a blind eye to the suffering of others not only reflected a disintegration of society, but was a fracture of the self. The journey through numbness, with its promise of immediate reprieve from pain, exacted a toll on the human spirit that was both profound and enduring. To engage with reality would mean confronting fears and assumptions, an endeavour perceived as perilous amidst the ever-present darkness. Thus, denial, once a temporary refuge, hardened into a prison, confining empathy and authenticity. In his writings, Bonhoeffer urged an awakening from this complacency of numbness to heed the call of moral vigilance. The choice to numb oneself creates an illusion of safety, a deceptive sense of control amid chaos. For Bonhoeffer, this illusion served as a double-edged sword, offering temporary relief yet deepening one's complicity with the very realities they wish to escape. By opting for numbness, individuals unwittingly disconnected from the essence of life itself. The pursuit of existential tranquility resulted in a subtle acceptance of dehumanization, where blunted perceptions estranged one from both moral compass and resilience. Silence amid atrocity, Bonhoeffer recognized, furthered the regime's agenda. In the quietude of those who chose withdrawal over resistance, he discerned the seeds of ethical and spiritual corrosion. Disengagement from uncomfortable truths allowed unimaginable cruelty to unfold unchecked by communal outcry or personal resolve. For many, the silence was an intricate dance between fear and helplessness, a scornful witness to suffering. During such oppressive times, numbness acted as a collective coping mechanism for a populace weighed down by relentless fear and unpredictability. This shared emotional withdrawal provided a transient sanctuary from the demands of an unforgiving regime, enabling people to cling to the illusion of normalcy while suppressing fundamental questions of justice and dignity. Bonhoeffer's keen insights revealed an awareness that these strategies, while comforting, built barriers to true human connection and accountability. By refusing to confront emotional pain, society collectively repressed potential transformation, under layers of indifference. The personal cost of living with this pervasive numbness was immense for those under authoritarian rule. This choice to distance oneself led to a gradual erosion of personal integrity and identity. Bonhoeffer noted that this apathy wasn't merely a reflection of societal conditions, but an internal struggle rooted in fear and vulnerability. The facade of numbness hid a deeper surrender of power and agency, trapping individuals in a cycle of passive complicity. Yet, within the heart of darkness, Bonhoeffer held fast to the idea that an ethical awakening was possible. Through introspection and self-examination, individuals could find their way back to an authentic engagement with life. His reflections highlighted the potential for transformation, signalling a new dawn nurtured by an unwavering commitment to truth. In this slow march from numbness to awareness lay the seeds of redemption, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Bonhoeffer's reflections are, above all, a profound call to consciousness. They summon us to awaken from the paralysis of apathy and embrace the transformative power of emotional engagement. His legacy implores us to reject the seduction of numbness and instead nurture an awareness that fosters both individual growth and collective liberation. In answering this call, we honour our shared humanity and the indomitable spirit of those who, like Bonhoeffer, dared to feel and act in the face of overwhelming darkness. Herein lies the path to authentic living, where vulnerability becomes the source of strength and compassion. In the serene ebb and flow of human emotion, there lies a seductive promise, the lure of numbness, a retreat into a quiet void where feelings drift like unhurried clouds in a muted sky. Here, amidst the quietude, there brews a belief in emotional detachment as a sanctuary, a place where the illusion of control whispers sweet reassurance. To shield oneself from the tempest of grief and anger, many believe in this mirage, assuming that to be untouched is to be strong, to not feel is to be free. Yet beneath this calm facade, a storm lingers. Unresolved feelings like waves waiting for high tide. Emotional detachment, it seems, does not protect but merely postpones the inevitable tide. As chaos beckons from below, it becomes clear that escape is not equivalent to endurance. In denying the wear and tear of raw emotions, one unknowingly crafts a brittle armour that masks vulnerability as strength. This false fortress, constructed in the hope of refuge, stands not on the solid rock of resilience but on sand, shifting with every new gust of unresolved conflict. The whispered secrets of our souls, wrapped within each emotion, become silenced under this guise of control. Like a delicate thread through the labyrinth of the psyche, feelings guide us toward growth, hinting at pathways of healing. However, when they are hushed by persistent numbness, they fester, rusting the chains that bind our hearts and minds. Slowly, the cost of this suppression reveals itself, not merely of mind but body too, where stress manifests, echoing tales of neglected emotions through tension and unease. In a culture that venerates self-reliance, the illusion of self-sufficiency is powerful. It sings a siren song of emotional isolation, a narrative that whispers strength is found in solitude. But behind these walls of seclusion, the tender yearning for connection remains. True independence, it transpires, is not born from detachment, but from the vibrant interplay of shared vulnerability and empathetic exchange. In walking the solitary path of self-sufficiency, one risks embracing isolation, mistaking it for autonomy, yet genuine strength radiates from the interconnected tapestry of human relations. In misunderstanding Stoicism, another mask is donned. Reverence for this ancient philosophy becomes entangled with the ease of emotional numbness, misinterpreted as a strength in neutrality. True Stoicism does not suppress but navigates emotions with grace, embracing the ebb and flow of feeling. Amidst this interpretation's shadows lies a masquerade of unresolved turmoil. By removing this mask, we uncover that fortitude emerges not from repression, but from the harmonious integration of emotion and reason. When life's challenges appear unyielding, avoidance becomes a tempting harbour, a momentary reprieve from the storm. Yet this harbour is but an illusion, shores that beckon with sanctuary, but yield only temporary relief. Within this refuge, feelings lapse into shadows, silent yet restless, urging acknowledgement. Avoidance, rather than a long-term sanctuary, serves merely as an ephemeral balm, preventing deeper healing and fostering lingering pain, a barrier to the enriched existence that comes from embracing life's emotional complexity. The powerful illusion of a pain-free life bewitches the heart, with numbness as its enchanting spell. To pursue this myth is to venture into emotional twilight, forsaking the depths where sorrow and joy intermingle and give life its profound vibrancy. Pain in its essence is a wise teacher, revealing through its presence the rich tapestry of the human spirit, its capacity for growth, laughter, and love. In resistance, emotional armour is built, layer by careful layer, designed to deflect the wounds and judgments of an unpredictable world. Yet this armour distances the wearer from genuine connection and authentic interactions. As one peels away these layers, courage and fear coexist, a dance between vulnerability and strength, revealing an awakening to the richness that lies beneath, the treasures illuminated by the mindful acceptance of every emotion. With the shedding of anger, grief and avoidance, introspection emerges as a gentle guide toward transformation. In reflective stillness, individuals find a sanctuary where self-awareness blossoms, a space to meet the shadow without judgment. Here emotions, once repressed, are woven into the narrative of self with compassion and grace, finding their rightful place in the story of healing. In this quiet unfolding, numbness transforms into empowerment, a journey of reframing perceptions, guided by luminaries who light the path of emotional resilience. Through mindfulness, self-awareness, and stories rich with insight, numbness shifts from barrier to bridge, pathway to strength, wherein emotional depth nourishes the soul, offering clarity in the beauty of lived experiences. In the end, resilience finds its roots not in detachment, but in the tender embrace of connection. It is the gentle tether of shared humanity that weaves the kaleidoscope of life into a resilient fabric, a tribute to the strength born of collective empathy and shared experience. True courage, as Bonhoeffer showed, is not forged in isolation, but revealed in the rich soil of communal bonds, inviting healing and authenticity in this sacred dance of being truly alive. In the gentle in-between moments of life's trivialities and moral crossings, a subtle drift sets forth, a slow, almost imperceptible sliding into the quiet embrace of ethical apathy. It whispers promises of refuge from the cacophony of emotions that clamour at the doors of our hearts. In the musings of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, we find a solemn warning against such a lure, a reminder that when the spirit turns away from emotional engagement, it forfeits its gift of discernment. The protective armour of numbness we fashion around our tenderest parts can, over time, suffocate our senses, dulling the vibrancy with which we once felt the world. What begins as a series of tiny, emotional withdrawals can, like snowflakes gathering silently, accumulate into an avalanche that buries our moral awareness. In this cocoon of indifference, silence is seductive. It becomes a haven where the weight of moral trials is momentarily lifted, where the reverberations of injustice are muted to a gentle hum. We are lulled into believing that inaction offers peace from the burden of empathy. Each refusal to feel becomes a step further into shadow, where our connection to the world weakens, where the clear melodies of principles fade into distant, haunting echoes. It is a quiet surrender, where we begin to float adrift on a sea of ethical ambiguity, the compass of our conscience spinning aimlessly beneath a cloudy sky. Yet this path into comfortable ignorance is not without its perils, for it tempts with a false promise of serenity, whispering of an existence unperturbed by the turmoil of awareness. We find ourselves adrift in soothing distractions, choosing the balm of forgetfulness over the piercing light of truth. In turning away from the consequences of a knowing heart, we unravel the rich tapestry of human connection, reducing our bonds to shadows and shades. Comfortable ignorance tightens its grip, casting a pall over our interactions, dulling everything we touch, see, and hear. Every small act of turning away, every whisper ignored, builds a legacy of disengagement. The quiet seduction of comfort that shields us from the world also stifles the fire within, a fire that once burned with empathy and rallied against wrongdoing. Bonhoeffer found himself amidst an era confronting darkness. He knew well the dangers lying in the stifling grip of apathy. Here lies the tragic irony. While seeking shelter from the storm, we may find ourselves shackled by our own silence, passive players in a world where inaction underpins chaos and suffering continues unchecked. This dance of avoidance tethers our souls to shadows where our perception dims and clear distinctions are swallowed by mist. Numbness coats our senses in icy stillness, obscuring the lines where justice stands apart from injustice. In the dim twilight of apathy, we become unmoored, silently drifting, our moral compasses spinning in the vast expanse of emotional absence. Decisions unaccompanied by feelings become a hollow echo of what they might have been, a haphazard tossing of intentions lost to the void. Bonhoeffer's life speaks of the risks inherent in this disengagement, of choosing ignorance over the responsibility to bear witness and lift our voices. In ignoring rumours and turning away from the unfolding events around us, we distance ourselves from the pulse of our collective humanity. Complicity finds its roots in quiet resignation, and through our withdrawal from engagement, systems of injustice gain strength, nourished by our inaction. The cost of inaction on the soul is one of silent suffering, a wound that festers unattended. Left unchecked, this loss of feeling becomes a form of self-betrayal, a fracture that runs deep within our core. Beneath this surface of apathy lies a yearning for what was lost, our ability to feel, to grow, to connect with the world in its full colour and sound. This is the quiet grief of an unobserved life, a grief that clings with longing for the warmth of human engagement, a spirit adrift, seeking anchors of empathy. We come to a place where the end of feeling marks the demise of moral responsibility. When we fail to resonate with the cries of need, we step back from our duty to act. In letting the ember of accountability dim, we drift into an ethical wilderness where self-imposed silence welcomes injustice and suffering. Bonhoeffer knew, as do we, that moral responsibility is a torch we must carry, igniting the path toward justice and compassion. Yet even amidst this numbness, hope flickers. A hint of awakening stirs under the surface. It is the gentle nudge that rouses the soul from its apathy, calling for a renewed engagement with life. This quiet emergence from slumber is more than reawakening. It is the transformation of perception. To feel again is to risk vulnerability, yes, but also to embrace joy, wonder, and connection. Bonhoeffer's words remind us that within this challenge lies profound healing, where the tapestry of life once faded blooms anew with vibrant possibilities for compassion and change. In the hushed sanctum of emotional numbness, an illusion of safety is woven, a sanctuary where the clamour of the world fades into a soft whisper. But beneath this seeming calm lies a prison of stillness, a cocoon spun from the absence of feeling. This state offers refuge from the battering winds of life's emotions, yet severs us from the vibrant tapestry of human connection. Here, the heart rests in a chrysalis of suspended animation, inhabiting an eerie silence that deceives the spirit into believing it is mere rest, when it is in fact an exile from life's richness. Picture a lone tree standing amidst a vast wintry landscape. Its branches, once full of life, stand bare against the sky. The heart in its numb dormancy mirrors this stark imagery, lacking the warmth to usher in any spring, to coax forth any blossoms of new growth. In shielding itself from emotion, the heart forfeits its ability to love and transform. Life becomes a grey-scale passage of survival, missing the vibrant spectrum of joy and sorrow, of transformation and renewal. This self-imposed withdrawal may protect us momentarily from pain, but it also pilfers from us the profound gift of human connection. In the stillness of today's fast-paced world, where outer appearances often eclipse inner realities, individuals gather in crowded rooms yet remain isolated within silent bubbles. As the heart retreats, it diminishes not only its capacity for empathy and joy, but also misses out on the subtle exchange of understanding and compassion. Slowly, what starts as a shield becomes a hurdle, disconnecting us from love and unity, those essential threads of the human experience. In this isolation, life's simple pleasures lose their luster. The laughter shared with a friend, the serene beauty of a sunset walk. These become hollow, like echoes in a deserted chamber. Left to wander the sidelines of life's vibrant parade, the numb are mere spectators, not participants. Each moment of withdrawal buries another chance for connection, rendering the soul a faded echo, yearning for the warmth of understanding and the solace of companionship. What begins as a quest for refuge transforms into a silent captivity, where the heart's whispers go unheard, waiting for the warmth that can melt these shadows. Emotionally numb waters are like a sea obscured by endless fog, deceptively calm, yet motionless beneath its liquid surface. Here the ambitions that once burned bright dim to mere embers, obscured by the mist. Creativity loses its fervour, and desires flicker faintly, struggling against the inertia of disconnection. The heart, adrift on this still sea, risks losing its essence, drifting listlessly without chart or compass. In mistaking this stillness for peace, one remains trapped in stagnation, oblivious to the emotional currents that lie in wait. Amidst this stasis, one may confuse it for tranquility. Yet true peace is not the evasion of emotions, but the artful engagement with them. To seek solace in genuine emotional expression is to heed the heart's whispers, urging a gentle exploration of these dormant depths to rejuvenate life's sails. This awakening calls for an awareness that recognizes the anchor of numbness and encourages the spirit to drift once more towards shores vibrant with emotion. Even in this deep absence of feeling, a flickering conscience persists, like a lone candle in a shadowed cathedral, its light a subtle hymn within, longing to rouse the soul. This gentle whisper is a beacon of truth, urging the soul to break through self-imposed barriers. In embracing this quiet voice, the heart gains courage to venture anew, guiding the way back toward emotional integrity and vibrancy. These whispers serve as guides, inviting the heart to gently wake from its slumber and face the depths within. The call to step beyond numbness is a journey over an uncertain bridge, a path toward rediscovery. It requires bravery to face what lies beneath the placid surface, to invite unpredictability and vulnerability into the light. As one moves forward, tentative yet determined, connections with others become authentic. Pathways lead to newfound depths of human experience. The expedition across this bridge, while daunting, holds the promise of re-engaging with life's full spectrum of emotion. Vulnerability emerges not as a weakness, but as a profound strength, a nurturing of authentic expression and connection. Through this openness, the soul rediscovers empathy, creativity, and truth, shedding the armour of detachment for stories alive with passion. In stepping into this space, a collective awakening occurs, drawing us into the shared embrace of humanity. Emotional experience, once solitary, reveals its universal threads that connect us all. Loneliness dissolves as we see our emotional reflections in others, fostering greater empathy and understanding. Here, the once muted individual embraces companionship, leaving behind insensitivity in favour of vibrant communal empathy. Through shared emotion, the forces for personal growth and transformation gather strength, weaving a harmonious tapestry that includes us all. This is a journey not to a simple destination, but to a realm of infinite exploration and expressive life. We emerge into wholeness, a dynamic state of being, where courage, authenticity, and interconnection define the rhythm of our days. And thus, we awaken to life's melody, feeling the soul's voice rise to meet its internal and external worlds in joyful harmony. In the hushed sanctuaries where sacred rituals are meant to bridge us to a divine realm, they often lose their soul and become mechanical, echoing with emptiness. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, whose thoughts linger like shadows across the corridors of faith, perceived this descent with a delicate but profound clarity. Rituals once vibrant morph into rote performances, leaving the heart untouched, akin to a marionette executing flawless but soulless motions. Bonhoeffer recognised the quiet dissonance in such ritualistic landscapes, speaking of spiritual practices turned hollow through repetition, devoid of genuine emotion. In this reflective stillness lies the tension between outward gestures and internal detachment. Prayers, hymns, and sacraments become skeletal frameworks, echoing with barren devotion. Bonhoeffer's insights reveal a spiritual languor, whereby rituals, detached from their emotional core, erode the bridge between the sacred and the believer. He invites us to pause, to ponder whether our practices resonate as symphonies of the spirit or merely echo past shadows. Yet, how easily the illusion of spiritual fulfillment can be mistaken for truth when belief submits to mere routine, as if satiating thirst with salt water. Bonhoeffer understood that to replace heartfelt engagement with mechanistic practice is to hollow out one's faith. transforming the vibrant into mere ritualistic echoes. This landscape of disconnection offers an illusion, seducing believers into equating frequency with depth, mistaking presence for awakening. Detachment becomes a beguiling cloak as believers maintain external allegiance, while inner engagement escapes into shadows unexplored. Bonhoeffer's reflections ask us to delve deeper, to unearth the hidden spectres that cast long, enigmatic shadows upon stone-cold rituals. Here lurks the unspoken fears and doubts, ever reaching for acknowledgement yet stifled by routine. It requires an awakening of courage to allow these shadows into the intimate dance of our devotion, turning empty gestures into sites of revelation. When dug from their depths, the shadowy recesses challenge us to question if we are deeply engaged or merely going through motions, failing to acknowledge an inner void that grows in the absence of true communion. The costs of emotional withdrawal from ritual are weighty, reverberating beyond the individual soul to the very heart of community. This void, beguilement leads communities into cycles of disengagement, diminishing the power and unity that come from authentic worship. Collective disengagement echoes as quiet ripples, eroding the power of shared devotion, transforming what was vibrant connection into silent compliance. This subliminal withdrawal overtakes even faithful congregations, unsettling authentic spiritual camaraderie. Reawakening authenticity demands an intimate resurrection of sacred engagement, rekindling the flames that illuminate our inner sanctuaries. Instead of obligation, it is a gentle invitation to touch once again the vibrant core of the rituals we hold dear. We must slow the tempo, allowing each chant, every whispered prayer, to bask in the light of conscious presence. Each murmur transforms when seen through fresh eyes and felt with a willing heart. This renaissance invites practitioners to embrace vulnerability, to sit with doubt, and to reflect upon the kindling that once fueled vibrant faith. Bonhoeffer's quiet wisdom speaks of an inner landscape where shadows are not dissolved but understood, where faith walks beside sorrow and joy alike. By embracing these shadows, willing to engage with discomfort, we transform hollow routines into profound spiritual discoveries. Every step forward on this path weaves rituals back into the intricate tapestry of life, infusing them with meaning that resonates deeply within. Bonhoeffer's vision impels followers to embrace rituals crafted with transparency and warmth, reflecting the divine dialogue pursued by open hearts and inquisitive spirits. Through such lived testaments, rituals transform into dynamic reflections, heralding the divine within the mundane, giving voice to belief's quiet truths. As we embark on this sacred journey, Bonhoeffer's insights invite us into contemplative pondering, a journey inwards, listening to the subtle call of our spiritual roots, unearthing whether they hold vibrant life or serve merely as ornate relics motionlessly adorning our lives. Exploring these sacred expressions through quiet introspection, we discover whether they serve to deepen or obscure the spiritual path we aspire to walk. A path not defined by ritual for ritual's sake, but by the deep reverence of thought and feeling united. Beyond the void, in the gentle unfolding of faith, awaits an opportunity for believers to journey, not in adherence to tradition, alone but with earnest engagement, navigating the sacred and profane with a heart open to wonder. Bonhoeffer's theology leads us to the heart's profound need for authenticity and engagement over acceptance. Embracing the paradoxes of belief as necessary, kindling for faith's unending fires. Awakening to the presence of the divine in the quotidian offers the wondrous promise of unfolding grace. Ritual should not bind us, but liberate us from the allure of complacency, challenging us to see the sacred in every moment, revealing the divine through whichever path we tread. Let us immerse ourselves not in the rigid frameworks of tradition, but in dynamic dialogue, reshaping our rituals into vehicles of personal and communal transformation. Collectively engaged, we return to unity, the sacred weave of shared belief flowing with the pulse of devotion and heart. Bonhoeffer's wisdom guides us into community's embrace, crafting with gentle hands a path forward where sacred rituals are born anew, a shimmering testament to humanity's deep reverence for the divine. In this sacred dance, each step finds its harmony, and every ritual becomes a tapestry, woven with authenticity, illuminated by the truth of shared transcendence. In the quiet folds of emotional numbness, there lies a deceptive tranquility, a serene facade masking the hidden turmoil of the heart. This numbness acts as a veil, draping us in a soothing quietude away from the storms of life's emotions. It seems at first as if we found a refuge, a gently lit room where the chaotic echoes of anger and sorrow are softened to whispers. But this calm is illusory, for beneath its surface, unspoken fears lie dormant, born of a vulnerability we dare not face. We balance on a delicate edge, with our hearts quietly aware of the fragility within this apparent safe haven. Yet the price of maintaining this balance is steep. Suppression is a silent thief, and avoidance cloaked as control. Each emotion we stifle threads itself into the psyche, weaving a tapestry of fear, hesitation, and insecurity. Personal shadows and old traumas linger and thrive within this web, nurturing an anxiety that resonates in moments of solitude. Bonhoeffer, in his profound reflections, recognised that to remain numb was to forfeit not only pain but the joyous embrace of life's wonders. Numbness deprives us of our full existence, trapping us in an uneasy equilibrium from which the soul must eventually awaken. At the core of our human experience stands fear, silent, pervasive, and often misunderstood. Fear, rooted in ancient instincts, stands as the sentinel of survival, alerting us to both external and internal threats. Those mysterious depths within our emotional self. From here springs the fear of vulnerability, a fear building barriers around experiences deemed too perilous. It whispers of exposure, an unsettling bearing of the soul that our minds equate to potential harm or judgment. It reflects our wrestle with moral obligations and the intimidating weight of possible suffering. By refusing to face our fears, we are refusing the growth they promise, denying ourselves the important transformation they bring. Instead, remaining numb in this respect is an unwelcome ignorance, offering momentary comfort, but eventually constricting us away from authenticity and genuine connection. Our bodies, in their quiet wisdom, speak volumes through unspoken languages, a dialogue of tensions, rapid heartbeats, and clenched jaws. These bodily signals heighten the call of emotions we choose not to acknowledge. As Bonhoeffer noted, there is necessity in embracing our embodied wisdom, listening to these signals as guides, recognizing them as the unheeded cries of a heart in waiting. Neglecting such signals, they crescendo into an unheard orchestra, hinting at unresolved emotions beneath our consciousness. Through attunement to this bodily dialogue, we gain insight into fear's manifestations, peeling back layers of numbness to reveal the urgent whispers of vulnerability nestled beneath. Vulnerability is not merely openness, it is courage. The bravery to be seen as we truly are within the depths of our human flaws. To be vulnerable is to stand bravely at fear's edge, confronting the soul's inner landscape without turning away, in a world that often equates strength with emotional fortitude. Vulnerability remains hidden beneath societal expectations and constructed defences. For Bonhoeffer, vulnerability was a doorway to ethical engagement and authenticity. His journey guides us toward unravelling the tightly wound stories that protect us, unravelling them to embrace true self-expression. It's a call for patient compassion and fearless self-examination, a recognition of fear's transformative power, shifting it from restraint into motivation. When we open to the vulnerability of our hearts, we unlock resilience and forge connections that numbness can never achieve. Under the protective cloak of numbness lies a deeper, often overlooked presence: moral responsibility. To feel is to engage with our internal moral compass, urging us to face the ethics of our actions. Bonhoeffer's teachings reflect the need to embrace these moral dimensions, understanding that numbness, while a temporary refuge, places moral growth in suspension. With numbness comes the quiet tragedy of losing our empowered role in the moral narrative of life. When we cease to feel, we surrender the beam of integrity that spurs us to courageous action. By confronting our ethical dimensions, we invite profound understanding and the strength to act upon it. Isolation, the silent cocoon of numbness, holds the world at bay. While it starts as a self-preservation method, it pulls us into an emotional exile. Bonhoeffer realised that this cuts to the core of human interconnectedness. Heartfelt ties weaken as numbness erects walls of protection, fortified by past disappointments and future fears. Beneath, however, lies a yearning for depth and kinship. By dismantling this isolation, we rediscover bonds that vitalise our existence and grant it meaning. Beyond, there exists an innate longing for healing, a reconciling with one's deepest self, acknowledging a truth camouflaged by silence. Bonhoeffer saw this as an invitation to enter the silence, not with dominance but with understanding. Engaging the space asks for humility, allowing us to face personal truths unmediated by aversion. Facing silence is liberating, fostering a lucid dialogue between consciousness and hidden fears, nurturing clarity and offering a compassionate beginning anew. Fear, often labelled a foe, reveals itself as a guide when examined. Bonhoeffer's insights inspire us to see fear as a companion within our emotional journey. In reframing it, fear shifts from a barrier to a teacher, its presence igniting personal development. By listening to its call with openness, we embark on a journey layered with self-discovery and growth. Each step toward acknowledging and embracing vulnerability and fear becomes a path to reclaim agency and integrity. Bonhoeffer's legacy reminds us that this interconnected journey enriches our shared humanity, igniting our existence with compassion and love. In the gentle quiet of night, when the world is still and the soul begins to whisper its truths, emotional numbness reveals itself as both a sanctuary and a snare. It envelops us like a protective shell formed from the subtle threads of avoidance and the longing for self-preservation. Within this cocoon, the vibrant colours of our emotions fade, leaving only the muted greys of existence. In this anaesthetised state, we're protected from life's unpredictable storms, but we are also deprived of its richness. Joy no longer dances, sadness is a dullness, and passions lie buried under calm resignation, disconnected from the tapestry of feelings that make us truly alive. Linger too long in numbness, and its once comforting embrace turns confining, like a cage around the soul. We find our connections with others growing shallow, guided more by habit than heartfelt exchange. The guardrails meant to preserve us soon imprison, preventing true encounters and spiritual awakenings. Yet, amid this numbed existence, a whisper calls from within, inviting us to break free and touch the profound depths of human consciousness, where richer truths abide. In life's mysterious dance, disruptions arrive unbidden, whether through words spoken in truth, a crisis that uncovers the fragile underpinnings of our existence, or the quiet shift of newfound understanding. These moments pierce our numbness like lightning splitting the night, bringing clarity to darkness. They serve not only to disturb, but to awaken, revealing the raw landscape beneath the surface. Like Bonhoeffer himself discovered, such disruptions are essential for reconnecting with the soul's authentic essence, lighting the path toward a life of deeper meaning. To break from numbness is akin to plunging into icy waters, shocking and invigorating. Emotions, long muffled, surge forward like waves kissing the shore, inviting us to rediscover our emotional vitality. Pain, though formidable, calls us to face our buried fears and desires, demanding navigation through the chaos to a truth more profound and freeing. In these moments we encounter epiphanies, a sudden bright understanding of life's hidden aspects, reshaping us from passive onlookers into active participants in the narrative of our lives. Awakening demands we confront suffering as a catalyst for enlightenment, ushering us beyond complacency into the realm of self-analysis and introspection. While not inherently virtuous, suffering challenges us to dismantle the structures that sustain numbness, inviting resilience and forging growth. Bonhoeffer understood that this intimate dance with discomfort and vulnerability liberates and evolves us, leading us to a balanced acknowledgement of life's complex poetry. As we learn to embrace suffering rather than evade it, we invite a greater depth of compassion, empathy, and transformative beauty. In moments when numbness crumbles under disruption's weight, grace subtly enters, not as divine favour, but as gentle acceptance and alignment with change. Grace softens the rigidity of new realities, reminding us that pain and disruption, though harbingers of suffering, also herald rebirth. Bonhoeffer recognised in grace a silent strength, offering solace amid shock, and urging us towards authenticity and deeper engagement with life's mysteries. Emerging from each awakening, we find at the threshold of transformation new paths unfolding. The cocoon dissolves, and rebirth propels us beyond constructed boundaries toward new understandings. This journey not only unlocks emotional truths, but initiates a radical consciousness shift, redefining our identity and allowing the forgotten fragments of our soul to shine. Bonhoeffer's legacy teaches that awareness blossoms into intentional pursuit, driven by purpose and authenticity, transcending mere comfort. Awakening invites us to embrace vulnerability, a natural human condition concealed by numbness. Bonhoeffer saw vulnerability as a path to empowerment, driving genuine connections and fostering a sense of belonging. By allowing our true selves to be seen, we embrace creativity, innovation, and spirit. Disarmed of invulnerability, we engage deeply, where the act of sharing our truths, fears, and desires becomes a source of strength. Jungian wisdom guides us in integrating our shadow, the obscure facets of self residing in the unconscious. Disruption shines light on these shadows, beckoning reconciliation. Though daunting, integrating our shadow transforms obstacles into strengths, enriching compassion and self-discovery. Bonhoeffer believed in the necessity of this integration for true wholeness, urging us to embrace imperfections with honesty and tenderness. As we traverse the disruptions that awaken us, we step into new consciousness. This holistic awareness merges wisdom and experience into a tapestry of insights, cultivated through suffering and joy. In this state, we engage actively with life, choosing conscious responses and crafting our narrative with integrity. In life's cyclical dance, continuous awakenings both opportunity and gift. Bonhoeffer's life echoes this, living purposefully amidst challenges. Each awakening cycle deepens self-understanding, nurturing resilience and adaptability. By embracing life's unpredictability, we enhance empathy, choosing to live as embodied and awake beings, committed to the timeless dance of existence. In every soul's journey, there comes an elusive moment, a gentle nudge in the tapestry of life that beckons the heart to awaken. This catalyst arises out of the mundane, hidden in the whisper of a quiet thought or the alignment of unexpected stars. Like a fragment of a sacred dream, it urges the mind to yield its control, shifting towards the heart's silent yearning to connect with life's raw beauty. For Bonhoeffer, this spark was lit amidst the surrounding moral twilight, a revelation that suffering in silence was no shield from complicity. To live numbed is to dwell in a world devoid of colours, authenticity veiled beneath self-constructed barriers. Yet, when this protective armour shatters, the light of genuine feeling pours through, illuminating paths of primal relief and authentic strength. Bonhoeffer realised that to find peace, he must embrace discomfort, a truth found in the vulnerability that births true confidence. To feel deeply is to embrace the courage of vulnerability, a realm where humanity is affirmed, not diminished. In a world that often cherishes stoic facades, unveiling one's emotions almost feels like inviting chaos. However, Bonhoeffer saw vulnerability as the bridge to meaningful connection and transformative change. This willingness to bare one's soul nurtures a deeper understanding of self and others, defying the fears that often keep us secluded behind emotional walls. Initially daunting, vulnerability gradually transforms into the seed of profound authenticity and strength, inviting introspection and self-awareness. Bonhoeffer's experiences showed that confronting one's shadow with courage ultimately opened doors to unexplored empathy and understanding. As boundaries blur, isolation gives way to interwoven connections, each bound by the shared essence of humanity. Guided by discomfort, we embark upon this journey from numbness into vibrant feeling. Discomfort heralds engagement with life, a teacher revealing that growth often shatters the complacency masked by numbness. Bonhoeffer embraced this harsh yet vital transition, finding empowerment in the friction against stagnation. As discomfort evolves into empowerment, resilience arises, transforming struggle into vibrant truths and reshaping the once daunting unknown into captivating possibilities. Empathy is a gift, a shared journey with those whose burdens we embrace, yet it too demands the courage to face immense vulnerability. In sharing others' struggles, Bonhoeffer realised empathy's transformative potential. Despite its weight, empathy's light reveals paths to transcend isolation, unravelling the delicate tapestry of emotional landscapes that unite us all. At the heart of these experiences lies the relinquishment of control. Bonhoeffer understood that the true liberation of the soul is found not in grasping control, but in releasing it. This surrender opens the door to life's rich unpredictability, enabling a dynamic balance that favours authenticity over restriction. In embracing the unknown, emotions flow freely, guiding our choices with deeper wisdom and trust in the emotional currents of existence. And so embracing the risk of feeling is not a final destination, but an enduring process. Bonhoeffer knew that confronting the wounds of both time and soul was a testament to resilience. This courage transforms suffering into empathy and insight, turning once paralysing pain into a shared beacon of hope. Healing becomes an intricate dance between openness and strength, a renewal inviting growth and reconciliation with the self. Discipline arises, beckoning emotional inclusion as a tapestry of joy, sorrow, anger, and love that interweaves into harmony. Bonhoeffer exemplified that all emotions are sacred notes in the symphony of life. In granting them space, they become allies in self-understanding, nurturing personal growth and fostering deeper connections. Self-compassion stands as an essential companion on this journey, offering kindness in place of criticism. Bonhoeffer's wisdom taught that forgiving past numbness reveals its protective nature, allowing gentleness to foster healing. Self-compassion is active self-affirmation, a transformation enabling vulnerability and strength to intertwine amidst life's complexities. Through the daring embrace of feeling arises a symphony of reconnection. Bonhoeffer's life echoed this harmonious weave, where the once muted notes of experience sing in unison. Emotion becomes a unifying force, dissolving isolation and fostering collective strength and understanding. Ultimately, the choice to embrace feeling is the choice to be alive. Bonhoeffer showed that beneath the veil of numbness lies a commitment to courageous engagement with life. To choose aliveness is to welcome the intricate joys and heartaches, exploring potential with an open heart and unshakable soul. By embracing this risk, life's fullness manifests through an eternal journey of empathy, integrity, and compassionate presence, affirming the essence of living deeply and authentically. In the gentle unfolding of a day, where shadows stretch long and the light begins to fade, the liberation of feeling fully breathes life into the soul. Emotional numbness, crafted as a shield against the deluge of external demands, often stands as a barrier to living with integrity and depth. Yet, when we allow the vibrant texture of emotions, sadness, joy, anger, and love to dance through us, we open the doorway to an authentic understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. Rather than an escape into indulgence, this liberation is a reconnection with our intrinsic nature, a journey back to the essence of what it means to be sentient. Embracing the full spectrum of our emotions dispels the illusion that detachment equals resilience and uncovers the courage inherent in vulnerability. Seen through Bonhoeffer's steadfast eyes, even under the oppressive shadows of Nazi cruelty, emotions play a pivotal role in shaping our ethical compass. The atrocities he faced ignited in him a profound strength through deep reflection on his feelings. His ability to experience fully, to let each emotion etch wisdom into his being, nurtured his compassion and conviction. This engagement with the totality of his emotions encouraged a movement beyond the borders of apathy, urging us to reclaim our capacity for impactful change. Rediscovering the heart's guidance, akin to relearning a forgotten language, draws us back to the subtle whispers of what truly matters. Letting go of numbness, we become attuned to the steady pulse of our hearts, allowing us to navigate life's complexities with clarity and purpose. Bonhoeffer, amidst his time's moral tumult, aligned his actions with these profound emotional instincts, demonstrating how empathy and interconnectedness transform lives. Instead of turning away, he leaned into the guidance of his heart, propelling him toward endeavours that championed justice and compassion. His life, a testament to the timelessness of empathy, urges us to harness our emotions as a compass steering us toward kindness and community enrichment. Compassion, when rekindled, becomes a powerful antidote to the disconnection wrought by emotional numbness. In shielding against emotions, we inadvertently sever the connections weaving the fabric of our shared humanity. Compassion invites us back into relationships, creating spaces for empathy and understanding. Bonhoeffer's journey illuminates how compassion, even when the world seems enveloped in darkness, shines as a beacon of hope and transformation. By embracing those many deemed enemies, he acknowledged our shared humanity, fostering profound connections and resisting injustice. Not with indifference, but with active love. His actions elevate our individual narratives into a collective experience, transforming personal adversities into catalysts for solidarity and action, breaking free from the isolation of numbness. In the quiet chambers of the heart where sorrow often hides, there lies a teacher waiting to be heard. Embracing sorrow rather than retreating from its depths unveils its transformative power, guiding us through life's inevitable challenges toward deeper insights into existence and mortality. Bonhoeffer's engagement with the sorrow of his time without succumbing to hopelessness embodies living wide awake. In allowing sorrow to shape us, we dismantle the illusion of permanent pain and reveal resilience. It teaches us to bear witness to our own stories and those of others, intricately binding us with threads of compassion and understanding. At the heart of living wide awake is the courage to love unreservedly. Love, rich and deep, challenges us to face the joys and sufferings of life without restraint. By daring to love, we acknowledge our connections in their fullest form, celebrating them while embracing vulnerability as a bold engagement with life's complexities. Bonhoeffer's teachings extend this invitation to love beyond affection to a force for justice and equity. His activism was suffused with love, and he highlighted its dynamic ability to redefine narratives and build bridges. His legacy invites us to recognize love as a transformative power, ever present in our pursuit of a redeemed world. Within the alchemy of emotional transmutation lies the key to living wide awake, turning fear into courage, anger into understanding, and grief into wisdom. By engaging with emotions, we craft meaningful expressions of our humanity, fostering internal transformation, radiating outward. Bonhoeffer channeled his fear and outrage into resolute action and unwavering hope, showing how emotional mastery can redefine power dynamics, enabling ethical action even under duress. Commitment to a purpose larger than oneself becomes a cornerstone of living wakefully. Investing in causes that transcend personal gain aligns us with justice, compassion, and understanding. It urges us beyond self-centered concerns, becoming catalysts for change and nurturers of community. Bonhoeffer's unwavering dedication exemplified such commitment, inviting reflection on our responsibilities within our communities. Living awake means directing our passions toward societal upliftment and stimulating collective transformation. As we centre ourselves in the now, presence becomes a gift, anchoring us in moments of joy and appreciation. Bonhoeffer's reflections teach us to perceive each moment not as isolated, but as part of a larger tapestry of experience, encouraging reverence in ordinary encounters, nurturing gratitude, and fostering joy amid adversity. Vulnerability, when embraced, emerges not as weakness but as a gateway to connection and authenticity, breaking down barriers and enhancing our compassion for others. Guided by Bonhoeffer's legacy, we find the courage to act with compassion, pursuing a world ripe for reimagination. Balanced on this threshold, we invite listeners to subscribe, to journey with us further into the mysteries of the human spirit.